Welcome, everyone. It's Friday. It sure is. Da, da, da. Oh my God, I can't believe that. Days of Our Lives just popped into my head from way back in the day when I was a little girl, just from hitting that note, that minor note. Friday. But I digress. Much music in there. But anywho, Good Friday. What is Good Friday? The Bible would tell you Good Friday is when, you know, Jesus was taken up and well, let's look at that psychologically. What we do on Good Friday is to die to the old way of living. Truly, there's something that you've been doing and you're like, I don't want to do that anymore. And so you surrender it. You surrender it because you don't want to be a part of it anymore. And then pick up the mantle to be who you now want to be. You surrender the old by picking up the new. You see, we tend to want to struggle and fight against the old, when in actuality, it is easier to just pick up the new, because then it is in the picking up and the embracing of the new that the old is relinquished without effort. So you see, Good Friday is the surrender of the old self. It is the surrender of the old. And as you rise again, you rise in the newness. You rise in the newness of you. It's nothing complex. It is just rather simple. You examine that part of yourself you would like to surrender. And as you surrender it, you are transmuting the energy from it. You're extracting the energy from it, the thing that didn't serve you. Pardon me. The thing that no longer serves you from it, and you infuse the other thing that you want to become with that old energy. Because it's not really old, is it? It's not old. The energy's always there. And you just see, we think that reuse, recycle, and recover, I guess how those 3 R's are. We think we came up with that, but it's just mental transmutation is what it is. You're taking mentally what used to be trash, like trash thinking and those old thoughts, and you're pruning them so that they can feed now the new parts of you. This is the resurrection. When that new habit takes root and it becomes like the back of your hand, or you could do it with your eyes closed. Pardon me. That is the resurrection. The old has just become the new once more. So you see, symbolically, psychologically, we die and we rise, moment by moment. Indeed, we do. But it's just sometimes that we do not know what we're doing. So Good Friday is based upon the fact that we die to the old man, to the old way of being. And I like the word surrender better because it It's not as startling, if you will. We surrender. You surrender the old and you pick up the new, both at the same time. So whatever that thing is that you are presently doing, that you're presently feeding, giving life to, simply withdraw your attention from it. But that's easier said than done, Angela. To withdraw your attention from somewhere, you put your attention upon something. Is it not easier? We don't just ever dilly-dally. We do not. We're constantly giving our attention somewhere else, over and over and over. So where are you putting your attention? That is what you're giving life to. So you see, when you put your attention where you want to infuse it with life, naturally you would surrender. Scripture would say to you, you cannot serve two masters. It's not trying to be cryptic. You put your attention in one area, and that's what will grow. And in order to be whole about it, not be fractured, because when you have a singular attention, that's where you become most powerful. But when you divide the attention, you weaken both things you're trying to strengthen. So today, remember, allegedly, as Neville Goddard would say, that Golgotha is the skull. And we will emerge from there. We emerge from there. Your thinking is different. Like it is absolutely fascinating to know that today. It's funny too, because scripture says, do this often in remembrance of me. Drink my blood and eat my flesh. That's what scripture says. You know it's not talking about cannibalism, right? But the do this often in remembrance of me. That's the part I'm interested in. Do what often? Renew the mind often. Surrender the old. Surrender the old. That's what we do often. Simple as that. The old way of being is a strong thing, because it has to be, right? You're drawing life from it every day. It can't be weak. So the old way has to be strong. Your habits, this is why habits are as powerful as they are, because they feed you every day. They power you every day so that you will do that thing. So it has to maintain its strength. It just does. But do this often in remembrance of me. We are remembering to surrender and rise. Surrender and rise. This is what we are remembering to do. Surrender the old and rise in the new. That is what we recall. That is what we remember. And especially on a day like today. All these people are focused in one area. That's a lot of power out there in the world right now. It is. Whether or not they are being ritualistic. Look at the fact that look at all those people who will be going to church. They're going to have a singular focus. Unconditional love is the focus. How so? Because we hear, but Jesus died on the cross for me. That's what you'll hear. And when you hear it, what's happening there? Someone dying for you. No greater love than this, that a man should lay down his life for his friends. It doesn't mean that he literally died for you. It doesn't mean that. It now means you're being shown. You're being shown what to relinquish, what to remove your attention from, so that you live in a new way. You're a new creation. You're a new man, if you will. So that's what Good Friday is. You take the time to recognize that thing in your life that you no longer want to participate in. And you surrender. You surrender that thing by accepting what you do want to become and building that up. And now there's no second thought, really, about the old. That is what is beautiful about the principles. We die or surrender every day to the old. Every day. And here's the thing. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. When you renew your mind, we realize that the body renews, right? Well, they tell you you're not the same person. In about, 7 years, you're a new person because your cells are new. Everything about you is new. And it starts right in your mind. Right in your mind is where it begins. So today, my beautiful friends, I'm not going to hold you up. But as we go through this long weekend, remember who and what you are. You're not just human. You're not. There is a depth to you. You're not just human. You are what powers humanity. Hmm? You are what is powering humanity. That's why if you remove or extract the spirit, the form of humanity dies. Because you are the life within. So you see, when you start to recognize that you are the life within, then it will become easier for you to not be moved so dramatically by the comings and goings of the people on the planet. Who likes you and who doesn't like you. Who's doing who, who's not doing who. That's what will make it easier when you recognize that you are the thing powering humanity. So today, what will you surrender on the cross? The cross is your body. As per Neville Goddard, this is how he describes it. The cross is the body. So each man must bear his own cross. So today, what will you surrender upon that cross? Think about that. Ponder it. What will you surrender? And you don't, this is the part of what I love about the law, the principles. You are always successful in whatever you quote unquote endeavor to do. You are. Because every cause has its effect and every effect its cause. As within, so without, as above, so below. You'll never get that which you are every single time. So you see, you are a success every single time. What are you successful in? That is the question. See, as simple as that. As simple as that. So go forth this day, through this weekend, and remember what you are, who you are. You are what powers humanity. And without you, there can be no humanity. You are life itself, not a remnant, not a little piece, not a smidgen. You are all of life itself. And the moment you start recognizing that about yourself, your whole attitude will change. You'll go from poor, poor, pitiful me. It's a song. You'll go from that mental attitude to saying and reminding yourself, wait a minute. I surrendered the old. Let me rise in this new man or woman that I say that I am. That is Good Friday in a nutshell. Or I should say, the way they have it commercialized, that is Good Friday in an eggshell. But you know what? The better man is here in these YouTube streets. I see you. I see you. Truly a phenomenal man you are. You truly are. And I'm always pleased to see you. I think he might be sleeping in on Twitter this morning. I can't blame them. Any opportunity you get to sleep in, shoot, I take that every time. Who's here on fan base with us this morning? We got Flo Smiles, we got Honey, we got Michael, we got Surreal. Oh, we have the beautiful Summer Rose. We got Ray Ray and Lennon. Hello. Welcome to the space. So on this glorious day, my beautiful friends, what will you surrender? What will you surrender? And remember, surrender is not a struggle. It isn't a struggle. When you lay on your bed and you surrender to sleep, oh my goodness, Bez. Bez, I just called your name. Ugh, I just say you may have slept in. And look at that. You just popped right in. Doubt me? When you catch the replay, it came in at how many minutes? 1930, 1927 in there somewhere, but I did call your name. Anywho, welcome. So what is it? Remember, surrender is an easy thing to do. Oh, don't clutch your pearls. It is easy to do. How? By embracing what you want. It's as simple as that. When you embrace what you want, obviously you have to relinquish something. You have to empty your hands before you can fill them up again. So as you want to surrender, you have to pick up what you want to become. It's as simple as that. And when you say, I want to become this, the rehearsal is simple. What would I be doing in reality? Only you can answer that question. What would you be doing? That implies that you just surrendered and accepted your new. What would you be doing? You see, and now that you can get it in your mind's eye what you would be doing, then that right there, and you see it, it comes accompanied by a most beautiful feeling. That's how you know. And you persist. Because every time you say, I am, dot, 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 whatever this new thing is, it's like you're performing and you say, yes, this is me, this is the new me. And you play it out and you play it out and you play it out. And you begin to get comfortable and familiar with it. And you say, yeah, this is the new me. This is the new me. And that is how you surrender. By accepting and doing the new. Right? Don't fight and struggle against the old. You'll wear yourself out. Embrace the new and do it. And all the life that you had put into the old, you have now siphoned it off again and are using it. That's what we're doing. All day, every day. So that's the reminder today. That's who's on the cross today. The old way. And I know we say, well, Angela, what's the significance of 3? Now, I don't study or practice numerology, but what I do recognize is the time that it takes for something, as Neville Goddard would say, to become more natural to you. You know, like the back of your hand, like you've been doing it forever. When you get up every day and you rehearse every day and you practice every day, that's what's happening. You are mentally impregnating yourself and forming a new neurological pathway inside your brain so that when you do that thing, it's become the new you. And that is when one rises. So that 3 days is relative. How long will it take you to impress upon your own mental faculties? Hmm. Well, then that is the day of the resurrection, right? Anywho, I trust that today and this long weekend that you will practice. Deliberately practice. And you will find that as you practice, we say it all the time, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. See, we think sometimes that that teacher is from the external world, when in actuality, the teacher is within. So the more you practice, your inner teacher arises and says, you asked me a question, Let me show you the answer. Hmm. My, but the principles are beautiful. Hmm. So just practice. Step 1, knowing what you want to become. And so how do you figure it out? Rather easily, actually, because you don't have to go digging. What do I want to become? You look at what you presently are. And may you see what you are. Well, from there you can say, well, I don't want to be that, but because I can see that, what would the quote unquote opposite state be? That's how you build step 1. You look at what it is you're complaining about being, and you extract from it what the solution is. Then step 2, begin to experience in imagination what you would be doing in reality if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be. See? And right out of step 2, a feeling begins to emerge. And it's coming from within, that feeling that you get. And it is associated with that thing that you said. What would I be doing if I were the man or the woman I wanted to be? It rouses you from slumber. It shakes you up. Hmm. And it takes us right into step 3 naturally. How many times a day can you bring up that feeling? Hmm? Because that feeling is what you want to immerse yourself in. How many times can you bring it up during the day, and how long can you hold it for? Hmm. So you see, those 3 simple steps, if and when applied, hmm, will definitely change your life. And you will rise on that quote unquote 3rd day. Let it sink in for you. Just let it sink in. Hmm. Let me get the chime. I don't know that you'll get chicken this morning. I don't know. As soon as I said that, I heard him. This young whippersnapper has impeccable timing. He truly does. I remember the story now. Then Jesus said to Peter, before the cock crows 3 times, you will deny me. There's that number again, 3. What's that mean? It means when we deny what we deny things when we say, well, I don't know. When in actuality, we do know. We know. It is just perhaps fear that, hmm, I don't know how is what we actually mean when we say, I don't know. We're technically saying, I don't know how that is going to be possible. That's what we're saying. Because we actually do know that all things are possible. But the rest of that scripture is, all things are possible to them that believe. Why believe? You see, belief is not something mystical. Belief is what someone knows or experienced. Because now you know it, right? As within, so without tells you It tells you that all things are possible. Because once you can experience it within your mind's eye, well, and you persist in that feeling, you will experience it on the outside. That is what makes all things possible. That you believe in it. As within, so without. As above, so below. And when you believe in that thing, you must always see the evidence of what you believe. You see, we spend the day confirming things to ourselves. And how you know that you've confirmed it to yourself? You will say, "You see, I told you." That's what you'll say. That's exactly what you'll say. "See, I told you," because we are always confirming. It is the principle of correspondence. As within, so without. As above, so below. We are always confirming that which we are. And we are always affirming that which we say we are. That's what we're doing all day, every day. It's just that no one has stopped to see what they're doing, to observe. But anyhow, practice. You simply practice and recognize that practicing is not a chore, you know. Practicing is not a chore. Practicing should be filled with excitement. Why? Because you know the inevitable outcome of your practicing. What is that inevitable outcome of your practicing? Well, what you practice, you become. So if you are continually practicing something, you cannot be surprised by the outcome. You were the one practicing. And that's where your confidence comes from. Not something that's wishy-washy or that the moth can eat. You know, in all the cartoons, they put their hands in their pockets and they pull out the inside pocket to the outside, and then these little moths fly out. See, we don't put our trust and our faith and our hope and our belief in things that are insecure. No, we put them in things that are secure. Why would you do it? Because when you know that something is secure, you're anchored to it, you're braced, you are shored up. And you know that, well, as within, so without. What's my attitude going to be like today? Versus we look at such big things and we get overwhelmed by them. No, it is in the little things. It's the little things. They accumulate. You see? So every time you practice who you want to be, where does one practice? Mentally, it is a rehearsal. That's what it is. You see, as the actor rehearses their lines, you rehearse the lines so that you can say them easily, effortlessly, because they're in your memory now, and that you can just say them at will. That's why you rehearse. But then the rehearsal deepens. Because you have the words memorized now, you can focus on the embodiment of what you are rehearsing. Right? That's what you're doing. You are rehearsing so that you master. Let me give you an example. I don't know if you've, oh, what the heck is the name of the show? I don't remember, but it's a hippopotamus in there. And he does the song, I like 'em chunky, I like 'em round. Now, think about that voiceover artist. Think about that for a moment. He had to memorize the words and the melody. And once he memorized the words and the melody, now he was free to build upon it, to embody the attitude that goes along, the confidence that goes along with the I like 'em big, right? I like 'em chunky. He's got to embody the mood of that thing he rehearsed. So you see, when you practice the principles every day by memorization, that's what you do. You memorize them. Mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, causation, and gender. Memorize them. Because when you memorize them, something deeper happens within you. Because you know them now, you've memorized them. Now, what can you do with that? How can you embody it? You see, nothing we do is idle, you know. We are always in a state of rehearsal. So, this is why, if you go to a play and you are so captivated, you're roped in by this person, and you're like, oh my God, I felt them. You felt them because they memorized those lines. And after the memorization, you now deepen your experience by embodying it so that what you have rehearsed now has more life within it, that you have infused within what you have rehearsed. So, what are you spending your time rehearsing? Another way to look at that question is, what mental conversation, what inner conversation are you having with yourself? That is your rehearsal. And we all know what happens when we rehearse, don't we? Oh, to rehearse is to plan for the inevitable walk across the stage and act it out. So then, do you have to hope for it to happen? Or do you just have to rehearse it and know that what you rehearse, you embody? And this is why when you choose who you want to become, you say, if I choose this particular attitude, am I going to like the behavior of it? And if you say yes, well then, choose that attitude, choose that mental mood, and begin to walk in it. And the reason why at first it feels kind of awkward is because you haven't done it before. It's not awkward because you don't know what you're doing. It is only awkward because you have not done it before. So the more that you spend your time rehearsing the man or the woman you want to become, the outcome is inevitable. You become it. That's why when you hear, you already have it. You must believe that you already have it. That's what it means. It means the more that you rehearse, you got the part. All you're doing is shoring up the part that you have. So, Angela, how does that relate to a job? Well, what is the job that you're rehearsing for? What would you be doing in the job? Yeah, if you'd be answering phones, then that's what you're doing. That's what you're embodying. The tone at the other end. I had a gentleman say to me yesterday, he goes, "Ooh, you can call me any day, honey." And I was like, "You crack me up." He goes, "You can call me any day." And we shared a good chuckle. It is what it is. But that's why we rehearse, so that when you get out there and do the job, You've already been practicing. Practicing prepares you. Oh, practicing prepares you. That's why you already have it, because you're practicing it. And the inevitable outcome is the embodiment of what you say you want it to become. So what you gonna practice? See now why you have to choose wisely what you practice? Because what you practice, you become. And can you surrender to that thing every day? Oh, can you? So that's why you take your time in making the choice. Take the time to examine the choice you are about to make. Because you know once you make the choice, well, you're it. Until you make another choice, and another choice, and another choice, thereby creating your destiny. Anyway, I do tend to prattle on. Let me get the chime. And as you hear the chime this morning, who do you want to become in the world? Take your time and feel it out. Who you want to become. And then when it feels best, begin to rehearse what you would be doing in reality if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be. And you practice every day that new attitude. Just practice getting into the mood. Practice getting into that mental attitude. And then you know as well as I do that the mood rehearsed will be the experiences you have. So now, on Good Friday, what will you surrender? What will you give up? But let's ask the question better. What will you embrace? Huh. What will you embrace? Let me get the chime. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Much love to each and every one of you, my beautiful friends. And you know, as always, you can slide into my DMs if you have questions, and I will respond. Okay? Just let me know. And you know I'll see you again on Monday, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Fanbase, and Twitter. Right? Yeah. So go forth. What will you embrace and give life to? Because to give life to something, you surrender something else. So what will you surrender upon the cross? It is a glorious day. Much love.